Hello, my little ninjas. My name's Mike. This is my YouTube page, Mox News. Welcome to your Wake and Bake News at 7 p.m. I'm your host, Moxie. And tonight, I have many videos for you. You've tuned into an excellent evening of programming. Lots of videos. I have some really good videos, I think. A couple of them I've already posted today. One in particular was titled Who Supports Israel? And it talks about how the governments of the world are supporting Israel while the people of the world are standing up in solidarity with the Palestinian people. Which, again, the question is, who is it that these governments represent anyways? Because they're supposed to be looking out for their people, right? Not other countries. I mean, their people say, hey, we want things this way. The government is supposed to respond to that, isn't it? I think it's an important thing. And that's from the Israeli news, talking about how the world's people are uniting to support the Palestinians, as where the governments support Israel. So all the... this is the real question. If the government's not going to listen to the will of the people, right? Then, we need a revolution. These in the thumbnail was George W. Bush and Barack Obama, right? And basically they're considered to be the same presidency, right? The first black president is considered to be the third and fourth terms of George W. Bush. George W. Bush, who, by the way, had very conflicted elections, right? Which we can't talk about the election, can we? If we talk about the election, then we're conspiracy theorists. And I want to tell you something about every time you hear this word conspiracy, you should probably want to look into it 10 times more. Because if the mainstream media is saying it's a conspiracy, like 9/11, you all know that's a conspiracy, right? Or maybe the lies that led us into war in Iraq. How soon will it be before that's a conspiracy? And you know why those things are conspiracies? To 9/11 truth, the lies that led us into war in Iraq. You know why those things are conspiracies? Because the media is guilty in lying to us about it. The media, who we're supposed to go to be informed, the news, they conspire together to lie about it. They conspire together to censor the President of the United States. They conspire together to say, Russia, 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 Russia. Oh, no, if you think anything about the election, that's a conspiracy. Well, I'll tell you what, George W. Bush was never elected. Not in 2000, not in 2004. I know this for a fact. Okay? And nobody cares. Oh, we had this fucked up election. That doesn't mean it could ever happen again, just because we had multiple fucked up elections already. You shouldn't question stuff like that. Oh, I also have a video about the Arizona election audit that's currently going on, and how it seems to have people's panties in a serious bunch, which I find interesting. Again, if there's nothing to see here, folks, let them have their little audit. Nothing's gonna change anything, right? Let them have their little conspiracy theory. Without making them into radical extremists. Because they don't believe what the media is saying. Oh my God, they're questioning the official story. They're radical extremists. You're not one of us. Oh. Right? And if you're not one of them, you must be a conspiracy theorist. Because you just won't accept what we're telling you. No, I will not. I will not. I've been lied to again and 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 again by you. Why would I trust you now? Okay? And I'm not saying anything about the 2020 election. I haven't said a word about that. I've just simply talked about conspiracy theorists, and the 2000 election and the 2004 election, which I'm sure they didn't call us conspiracy theorists when we questioned the outcome of those elections. they called us, they called us Americans that wanted answers to questions, wanted to know that our election process was secure and accurate. They recounted and recounted and recounted in Florida, where George W. Bush's brother just happened to be the governor. Conspiracy theory? No, it's fucking history. Okay? So let's stop pretending that the government or the news media or the for-profit health care industry or the prison industrial complex or the military industrial complex has our best interest at heart. And how much money do we give all of those fucks? Or any member of Congress has the slightest fucking care for the working class people of this country. And what I really want to say about Let the Revolution Begin, right? So I was thinking about this title, and I was thinking about, if it was going to be too touchy, if it's going to be, oh, he's calling for violence. I'm not calling for violence. I don't think we have to have violence at all. And I've explained this again and again. If you want to have a revolution, all we have to do is recognize the common enemy. Not only that, we recognize the common enemy, and then we just have to unite the people of these United States. We the people. We just have to unite and recognize the common enemy and go, all right, we're not buying a single thing off of Amazon. We're just going to sit here for a week. You stock up at the grocery store. Say, we're all not going to do a fucking thing for a week. Then do we have your attention now? Because I'm pretty sure that we would have their attention. And this is the way it works now. We sign your paycheck. You represent us, not fucking Israel. Aid to Israel ends immediately. Okay? Or you get fired. Hopefully you get fired and sent to prison. That's what I'm looking for. But to make my point even more, understandable, the revolutionaries of 1776, who threw off a tyrannical government, a tyrannical police state government, threw them into the sewer where they belonged, those people are considered to be some of the greatest Americans of all time. Okay, so anybody who's calling for a revolution, you shouldn't be threatened by that person. That person's stepping up like the Founding Fathers did and say, we can do better than this. We deserve better than this. We the people of these United States, the greatest country on earth, deserve better than a failing infrastructure and, endless fucking bullshit. So, and I have a video about infrastructure, by the way, in which the person who's being interviewed explains that what made America, the United States, an economic powerhouse in the first place was that we had the most modern infrastructure in the world at one time. And this is something I say again and again and again. So it's a call-in show, people. The number's right there on the screen. 805-669-6397. 805 Mox News. I'm just about ready for a bong hit. I hope you are too. Actually, I hope you're not ready for one. I hope you've been having quite a few and you're good. I am not. I've only had one bong hit today, and it was forever ago. So I'm going to have another one momentarily. But I think that this is really something important that I want to embed in your brain. Again, the people who founded this country on a revolution. This country was founded on a revolution. Those people are considered to be the greatest Americans, the greatest people of the United States, the revolutionaries that overthrew a tyrannical government. So don't look at people who are, calling for the downfall of a tyrannical government as somehow evildoers. This is what the Founding Fathers wanted. They expected, from what I understand, they expected a revolution out of us, out of you people, who you calling you people, out of us. They expected this, I believe, from what I understand, a lot earlier than, 220 years later. So, and why would they expect something like that? Because they gave you everything that you need. They gave you the freedom. They gave you the Second Amendment. They said, when you need to, you put this government down. We'll understand. That's what we want you to do. That's what the Founding Fathers wanted. That's why they gave us this freedom, instead of like so many other countries that have nothing like that. They wanted you to be able to overthrow this government. Especially if it became an over-intrusive, ever-expanding police state. Don't you think the Founding Fathers of this country would want that? Don't you think? I think they would be proud of the people that they gave the freedom to make that happen. And then they made it happen. And for a better world for everyone. Not just the people of these United States. We, the people of these United States. But everywhere around the world. Where we spread tyranny. I'm sorry, not we. This fucked up piece of shit spreads tyranny around the world. If you want to tell me what good this piece of shit government is, please call me and tell me. Because if they were standing up for freedom, if they were fighting oppression, if they were in the process of building the greatest infrastructure the world has ever known, I might be able to give them a break. Do you see any of that shit happening? I don't. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to play a video now and heat up my bong. So I hope that you will join me momentarily. Let's see. I have a video about turning plastic into jet fuel. Let's see. Protest at the Israeli embassy. You guys see that video yet? I haven't seen it anywhere in the news at all, except for the Israeli news, which I just happened to capture for you. Let's see, Bloomberg infrastructure, economic powerhouse. Ooh, brain weapon. Michael in here? I know he wants to see the brain weapon stuff. I'll hold off a minute for the brain weapon things. I'm going to turn the plastic into jet fuel. No, you know what? I'm going to play this this video about who supports Israel. Because that one wasn't viewed enough today, and it's a long video, so I'm basically just going to play the beginning of it while I heat up my bong. So if you want to see the full thing, it's posted on the website. But let's start there. Who supports Israel? Okay, here we go. I'm going to heat up the bong. Excuse me while I whip this out.
And that's exactly the division that's happening right now when we talk about who supports and stands with Israel and who is criticizing Israel at the moment. It's not amongst the leaders themselves, in particular in Europe, but more amongst the leaders in Europe versus the public opinion. So we've seen all of these protests, as you saw in the package earlier, of people all around Europe staging these mass demonstrations against what's going on in Gaza, in the Palestinian territories, and taking a very critical stand on Israel, using terms like apartheid, very, very specific narratives that they're picking on there. Meanwhile, their leaders have been voicing support for Israel as well as their right to defend themselves. In most cases, you've got countries like the Czech Republic, like Hungary, like Germany, that are very much coming out and saying Israel has the right, clear as day, to defend themselves. And that is a very interesting distinction this time around, where it's not so much the leaders that are at heads over here over which is to support and which is to criticize, but leaders amongst the general public.
Right. Now, as the Israel-Gaza conflict escalated, so too did the involvement of the international community. Our international affairs correspondent.
And isn't that really the question? Who is it that our governments represent? Right? If the people are in the streets, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands deep, people in the streets, who is it that their government's representing? Because it ain't them. Who? Who? Tell me who. The phone number's right there. You tell me what good this piece of garbage government is if they don't listen to the people in the streets. Just like in 2002, when there was millions and millions of people in the street demanding that we do not go to war in Iraq. Demanding. No one gives a fuck. They're going to do what they're going to do, all based on lies, murdering a million innocent Iraqis in your name with your tax dollars. Thanks a lot, Obama. I feel much better now. Okay, so again, that comes back to the whole thing about who are the government supporting? And if they're not supporting the people, the majority of the people, the working class, the backbone of society, if they're not representing them, right? If they're not there to represent the people who elect them, the people who sign their paychecks, what fucking good are they? Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? Bueller? Because I don't think anybody's got an answer for me unless I've already stated the answer, which they're fucking worthless and they all need to go to prison. Okay? Look, this is a representational government, which means the people come together to say this is the person we want representing us. And then the pieces of shit go to Washington, D.C., and they say, oh, I have to vote my conscience. No, you don't. That's not why you were put there. That's not why the people believed in you. The people believed in you because they thought you would represent them and their conscience. You don't have a conscience. If you're in Congress, as far as I can tell, you have no conscience whatsoever. Otherwise, you wouldn't just be going, oh, there needs to be a ceasefire. You'd be like, end the motherfucking blockade now. Okay? Biden is a giant pussy if he doesn't roll an aircraft carrier up to fucking Gaza and say the blockade ends right fucking now. Biden's a giant fucking pussy. And he's gonna go murder people elsewhere instead of where people really need help. And by the way, he's murdered plenty of people. In his support for the war in Iraq, completely based on lies, which he did support. 100%, never questioned it for 1 second. Million innocent Iraqis dead. That's Joe Biden for you. Thanks a lot, Obama. Hello, caller.
Hey, Max, it's Jackie Cat.
Hi, Shug. How are you doing?
Hey, pretty good. I don't know if I can really help you with the whole, what good is the government thing.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'd like to think potentially they could be good, or that they could do some good, or maybe even have done some good. Because, I'm optimistic like that in a pessimistic kind of way.
Well, I understand, Jackie. I've stated before that, I don't want to look at the cops like they're bad people. I wish we could look at the cops like they're the heroes that they want us to look at them like. I wish we could look at the members of Congress like they're the public servants that they say they are. So it's not that, all I'm saying is I understand you want to see the good. I'm just wondering if there's any of it there, that's all.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't know. I was actually having a little chat with a legislator down in my part of the woods I happen to know. And I happened to say something about, it's such a shame about what's going on in Israel or something. And she said, well, I support Israel. I support them. I said, well, I support all humans. But, I'm anti-war. You know me. And she's like, yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, you're so hopeless, and it made me think of, there's a cool hippie kid on YouTube, Dakota of Earth, I think is his name. And, maybe a year or two ago, he had traveled to Palestine.
Huh.
And he did, some cool travel vlogs there. And he went to the Banksy Museum and, did some stuff. And he met some Palestinian folks over there who, took him around and told him their story. And I was thinking about what you were saying the other day about, who puts their children in this situation, leaves their children in this situation, And they were showing, it looked like an alleyway, and it looked like a Trump wall, like Trump's wet dream wall. It was like 20 feet tall, and it had like concertina wire at the top, and then like every so often it had these like kind of enclosed turrets, where they would have armed guards. And this gentleman is standing in the street, and he's showing the nice Dakota hippie. He's saying, look, here's our school, and we had to close the school because look, you can see the school is bombed out. They blew out. There's bullet holes all over the walls. They blasted out the windows. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, wait a minute. Of course it's wrong to shoot at schools with children in them and stuff like that. Of course that's wrong, but it's also wrong to have a school. How is this school right here in front of this gun tower thing? Mm-hmm. You could make an argument that maybe the schools are first. I don't know, but it doesn't look like there's any great heroes in that story to me.
I don't know why a school would be built there. Maybe they thought that was the safest place for a school instead of out somewhere where it was around a bunch of other buildings that might get bombed. They could go, look, here's a school. It's little children. Don't fuck with it. You know what I mean?
Oh man, that's some optimism.
Well, I'm just saying I don't understand why. I'm just saying that but at the same time, I don't think that would be a very smart thing, like moving your children to Israel.
It doesn't seem ideal.
Although moving your children to Israel is probably safe, compared to I don't know,
moving to Palestine
or Los Angeles,
Los Angeles. I don't know. I'd have to take your word for that.
I don't know either for sure. I'm not going anywhere near Los Angeles, but I have been there before, and the most important thing to me when I was there was to get the fuck out as quickly as possible. But when it comes to school on the wall, I would say, look, this is like a school, and it might be this setup thing where they're like, okay, look, we got this school out in the middle of nowhere. They all know that it's a school, and they bomb it. At the same time, you wouldn't put your children into that kind of harm's way, understanding that the Israelis, the last time they blew up Gaza, they told a whole bunch of women and children to go to this UN compound that was a safe zone, and they wanted to go there to make sure they didn't get hurt, and then they bombed that fucking complex where they sent all the women and children. So I'm understanding that's who the Israeli army politicians are. You're right. Why would you put a school? They've already shown they'll bomb our women and children. So why would you make a school? Hey, here's your number one target. But they're supposed to be, the victims in all this. And if you're murdering a whole bunch of children, I don't know how you're the victim.
Well, speaking of that, was once upon a time, we had this Foreign Assistance Act thing that no assistance is supposed to be given to countries with human rights violations.
Yeah.
And I just wonder, what happened? So, they got a pass on that for Israel? Is that what the National Defense Act is about? I don't know. Does it mean that, you can go ahead and violate human rights? That's cool. We got you.
Well,
I don't know if that's what that means. Maybe it does. But maybe Ted Deutsch and I should have a little chat. Because, I really like that letter that he was involved in last month that had to do with supporting Israel at all costs, basically. I don't know. If we want to support Israel, here's a thought, Mox. You know how I feel about free ponies and stuff. I think free ponies are great.
Free what?
Free what? Money,
free what?
I did the
wait. You know how I feel about free what?
Ponies.
Ponies. I love free ponies.
Free
Absolutely.
Ponies for everyone.
Yeah.
So if we're going to send this money to Israel, I did some simple math, right? So it was let's round the numbers off. It's around $3 billion. It's about 9 million people. That's about $333 a person, right? That's not enough for a pony. I don't think you can buy a pony for that. But you know, all people, whether we're Palestinians or Israelis or Mox News Ninjas, one thing we all have in common is endocannabinoid systems.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, I think we should just have like more weed money maybe for people. Maybe they would chill out.
You know,
people really want to help because the bomb thing is not really working out so great.
You know, it's just making that illegal. I honestly think was to make the world a more violent place. You know,
I wonder if it's illegal there. I really don't know.
It's been the United States made it illegal everywhere because there was United States pushed a UN resolution through that said you can't get any UN money if cannabis is legal in your country. So
you can blow up children now. That's okay.
It seems to be. I don't know. I've watched that go on for so long, Jackie. It seems like I know. Did you see those streams of protests? I mean, there's some giant protests going on. It's just the people that are supposed to be representing those people seem like heartless bastards. And that's why I keep saying they got to go to prison, you know, because otherwise we're just going to get more and more heartless bastards.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong.
I mean, when you talk to this representative that you're talking to, you say you talked to recently, is that did you get the feeling that she's not heartless? It's a she, right?
I got the feeling that, you know, I know she's not heartless, but you know, ideologies kind of run away with people sometimes. So I kind of felt like she just needs to be reminded that she's not.
So you said it's a shame what's going on in the Middle East. Is that what you said? What did you say? Israel?
I may have said Israel, yeah.
Yeah, and she immediately says, "I stand with Israel," and you don't see that.
Me, Jack. I stand with Israel.
Right.
I stand with
that's
Israel.
What I'm saying. You don't see that. You don't see that as a declaration of "I have no heart."
I mean, it seems that way, doesn't it?
I
hear a lot of people say crazy stuff that I don't really think if they thought about it real hard, I don't think they really believe what they say sometimes.
But they already know that, Jackie Cat, and they look over it. They're not. These are people that are supposed to think about things really hard, you know, and so. It's really apparent to me, and it's not just Israel that makes them heartless. It's this thing where, you know, they could actually make a difference in Americans' lives, but instead, you know, they give giant tax breaks to the rich who already have everything. They give, which is probably fine because if they didn't get their giant tax breaks, they just take it out on us and higher prices anyways. But the point is that, you know, in Israel, everyone that wants to gets to go to college free. I think that would be something very easy to figure out in the United States. Everybody gets health care around the world for free. And, you know, the only superpower in the world can't figure that out. No, the people representing us don't care, which means they're heartless. It means they let little children go without proper medical care because they don't give a fuck. So yeah,
it's interesting. Doing some reading the other day. The only country we give more money than Israel is Afghanistan.
We give them.
Interesting. And I thought, well, you know, we could probably just, you know, leave them alone. It'd be better.
Well, the reason we give them so much is because we want the opium, and but also because you know, we couldn't do anything in that country if we weren't, you know, greasing every palm in every situation. You know, it's just we probably would have had our asses kicked out of there way long ago. You know.
And I think number 3 was Egypt. And all I could think of Egypt was. I like to follow Chris Gio sometimes in his crazy ayahuasca channel. And he was in Egypt brewing ayahuasca on the roof, and he's like, this place is a camel toilet.
That's sad.
Yeah, a was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is about everything, Jackie Cat, is that we all, I'm not just talking about the people of the United States, we all, the entire, we the people everywhere deserve better, than a toilet, and and I don't see anybody standing up saying that they want to make that happen for anyone anywhere around the world.
Well, let's see what Manny's got to say. Maybe he's got something he can tell us.
Well, he's always got something to say at the
He's
very
always
least.
got something to tell us, right? Maybe he can, say, hey, look, the government does great things. Look at this. Maybe he'll say that.
Did you hear him when he laughed the other night? That was hilarious.
Yes, that was really funny. I don't know what that was about exactly, but it was funny.
He's smoking that good stuff.
Good for him. Rock on, brother.
I got little babies coming up everywhere.
Oh my gosh, I'll have to tell you more about that later.
Okay.
You get back to your thing that you do.
It's really nice to hear from you.
It's really nice to talk to you.
Okay. Have fun.
Bye, love.
Bye. That's our buddy Jackie Cat, who makes a difference in every show. Thanks so much for all your help, Jackie Cat. It's always wonderful to hear your lovely voice. I have more videos. Did you see the last one about who supports Israel? I love that video. It's really not getting enough airtime. I also love the one about the protest outside the Israeli embassy. I like all these videos. These are some good videos. I do excellent work, if I do say so myself. That being said, this is a call-in show because it's not really important what kind of work I do or what kind of thing I have to say. It's really more about your voices and what you think and what you'd like to share with everyone everywhere. Hello, caller.
Hey, Mike, how are you doing tonight?
I am good. How are you? Actually, I didn't get to take a walk today, so I'm a little bit aggro. But he kept talking about thunder and lightning on the news, and Rufus does not. Well, both the dogs, Rufus and Sammy, neither one of them care for that. And I don't want to be out somewhere where they get all fucking aggro stressed and be miles from the house. So
it was really a beautiful day here in Western Washington. A little overcast in the morning, but it was cool. And then the sun came out in the late afternoon, so it's been a really nice late spring day. I'm sorry you didn't go for a walk. You didn't have an opportunity to go for a walk.
We'll probably go for one later, I think, as long as it looks a little bit clear.
I went to a new herb store today and a new cannabis shop, and I got a pretty fair deal. I got a decent ounce, for I think it was like $75 is what it was.
Nice.
Which was pretty fair. And it looks like it was grown outdoor, and it is a hybrid, is what it is. I don't even know what it's called. But anyway, I'm happy with it.
Good.
I'm always, I don't like to. I always am like, whenever I go to the marketplace, I'm a cheapskate. I just try to look for the best deal that I can and be frugal about my consumption. But I try to pay less than $100 for an ounce.
That shouldn't be too hard these days.
No, in fact, there were a lot more options.
Yeah.
Another story. So I try to go to a couple of stores, or talk to people and find out about prices because, whatever, money is money.
They all have online menus,
Yeah, and that definitely helps. That helped today.
Hey, Craig. Can you see this screen? I don't know what happened. It looks like our stream stopped. So what were you saying?
Oh, wow.
Jackie Cat says refresh.
Oh, cool.
We refresh. Jackie Cat said refresh. No, she says, are we back? I don't know what's happening.
I don't see it on the feed, Mike, from what I'm looking at.
Should we stop and try and start it again?
No, well, we can, yeah, definitely. Here, I'm going to try to refresh here on this end.
Craig, should we start it again? I'm asking stream.
right, I see you, Mike.
Do you see me?
I see you. You have an ink pen in your hand.
Okay.
A Sharpie.
What now?
I've been having internet problems all day, by the way, Mike. My browser's been loading super slow. The place I go to blog at with my friends, they were saying they could not post things, which they never say. So I've had like a couple of problems today with the computer personally. I'll try to refresh it again. No, it's just freezing.
Yeah, okay, here, hold on. Let me take it over. Let me do this, okay? All right, here we go.